skin for your skin, sin for your sin, eyes for your eyes, lips for your lips, skin for your skin, sin for your sin. Feel it down, 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 down. Think about it later. Feel it down, 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 down. Think about it later. Feel it down, 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 down. Think about it later. Feel it down, 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 down. Think about it later. All I ever wanna be is eyes for your eyes, lips for your lips, skin for your skin, sin for your sin.
Now anyone can learn. The Magnus Trainer app is packed with fun mini-games and interactive training content. Playable anytime, anywhere. Get the Magnus Trainer, available in the App Store and Google Play.
If you're a chess player, you have plenty of opportunities to challenge and play online against the top players participating in the Chessable Masters Super Tournament. Don't miss the opportunity to learn from the best. Check out the Chess24 shows area and tune in for banter blitzes with the likes of Magnus Carlsen, Fabiano Caruana, Alexander Krischuk, and Pentala Harikrishna. Go premium at Chess24 to challenge them and gain full access to the world's most entertaining chess platform.
Welcome, Magnus. Enjoying the action?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been pretty... Well, there's been significant action. Haven't seen anything close to the last of it.
GF played, and Taimur, he has 3 seconds, but he has been doing this his entire life. Yeah.
Knight G3, he's gone for it.
Yeah, baby. What a move.
Yeah, no, it really is very, very nice to see him back at this opening.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of what happens in the game, this is awesome.
Truly.
After queen d1, which is a mistake, now we have discovered e6 was a very strong move for Nepomnia. She opens up the diagonal of the queen and at the same time shuts out the d5 bishop from the defense. Black has to play rook e7 to protect the pawn and the 7th rank, but now the queen comes from the f5, queen f2, threatening rook f7, and it's curtains. So the position is collapsing right now here. Black has to resign. What happened in the game shows why e6 was so powerful, but that led me to the conclusion that queen d1 is a mistake because it allows e6, so the correct move for black. As sad as the position is, rook e6 perhaps could still try to hold. I do think that white has an advantage, quite a big advantage possibly, but at least it's not an immediate resignation. Black still has a fighting chance in the game. So stopping the pawn from being pushed to e6 was crucial for black, and as the arrow shows, that Peter is really good at drawing arrows. The a-passed pawn could give some kind of a counterplay for black in case white doesn't play the most precise, the most forceful move. So good learning moment for us that the pawn on e5 had to be stopped. Once it landed on e6, the game was over for the world number 2, Fabiano Caruana.
It's time to take control of your journey towards chess mastery. Magnus Carlsen introduces Chessable, the definitive solution for studying chess. Move Trainer uses the science of spaced repetition to identify your strengths and eliminate your weaknesses. There's no need to set up a board, remember which page you're on, or keep track of all the moves you miss. Move Trainer empowers you to go from the opening to the end game with confidence. It's a seamless, effective, and fun way to study chess. Choose from one of the largest online chess libraries in the world, with hundreds of titles ranging from classic books through to our exclusive Chessable courses, including over 100 free courses. Get expert insights from International Master John Bartholomew, Grandmaster Sam Shankland, International Master Christoph Silecki, Grandmaster Simon Williams, World Champion Magnus Carlsen, and hundreds of other instructors. Get started now and join our growing community of over 100,000 chess enthusiasts at chessable.com. Chessable, take control of your journey towards chess mastery.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Chessable Masters. As we are in the business end of things in the quarterfinals, the preliminaries have been played, and 4 participants have sadly made their exit. I'm your host, Yasser Seirawan, and along with 2 other wonderful presenters, Anna Rudolf is taking care of all of our social media platforms, and Chess24's very own analyst extraordinaire, Peter Svidler, is with us. A big welcome to you both, and hello, Anna.
Hello, Yasser, and hello, everybody tuning in on Twitch, YouTube, and Chess24. Welcome, everybody, to the first bit of the quarterfinals. As Yasser said, we unfortunately had to say farewell to 4 players, but the remainder of the field is stellar too. I can't wait to cover today's action, and I'll be monitoring all 3 chats on Twitch, on YouTube, and Chess24, as well as our hashtag on Twitter, hashtag StudyChess. Make sure to use it to get in touch with us, and I'll later on show you the question of the day. But on that note, I must say, it's a very hot day in Ireland. How are you feeling about these hot days, Peter, in Russia too?
Yeah, I'm literally melting here. It's been a challenging day already. I had to go outside for 10 minutes to pick up a book for one of my kids, and I regretted it instantly. He can go without books from now on.
I must say, both of you are heroes since you are wearing a proper jacket suit. I'm just here like, this is summer, and I'm allowed to look like it's summer.
We may want to join you, Anna. I'm telling you, it is very, very hot here in Holland as well. We're in the 30s, what might even be called tropical weather over here. We're melting. If the suit jacket does come off, I'm apologizing in advance. As I said, we're in the quarterfinals. The 4 players who have exited the tournament each left with $4,000. So it wasn't altogether bad. It's $150,000 in this, the 3rd leg of the Magnus Carlsen $1 million tour. And I've always said, for the good of chess, I should be a millionaire, and this is a way to do it. As you see, the 4 players will be exiting this stage of the competition, the quarterfinals, and they will walk away with $8,000. Nobody wants to walk away with $8,000. They want to stay in the competition. This is the first of 5 days of quarterfinal competition. The idea is that on each day, they'll play 4 rapid games. Actually, that's a little bit untrue. Their goal is to score 2.5 in the rapid games. If they do that in the first 3 games, the 4th game is not needed. They'll do that for 3 days. And the idea is you need to win 2 of the 3 days. If after 4 rapid games, the match is tied 2-2, we play a pair of blitz games, 5 minutes and 3 minutes. And if the match remains tied, we'll play 1 Armageddon game. For the quarterfinals, the drawing is pretty simple. The number 1 seed in one group plays the number 4 seed from the other group. The players who are highest seeds have the right to choose the colors in both the first game as well as in any Armageddon games that may be played. So it was very good for those people who played very well in the preliminaries to be high seeds. And as we get prepared for this, again, the quarterfinals, keep in mind 4 players will be playing today. They pair off against each other, and these are knockout matches. Tomorrow, another pair of players will join. But at this point, I would like to turn it over to Peter to introduce the knockout quarterfinals. Peter, what do you think of our pairings?
Yeah, we have 2 very intriguing matches today. The first sets of the match between Magnus and Fabi, who are obviously 2 players who know each other quite well, having played a World Championship match against each other in 2018. And they've played a number of very interesting encounters since, of course. And the all-Russian quarterfinal of Artemiev versus Nepomniachtchi, 2 players of, I think, contrasting styles, but both of them very, very strong, very efficient online players as well, good online pedigree, and both of those could become quite explosive. I think if we talk about the Carlsen Caruana match, which even for me as a Russian, I do feel like I'm probably looking forward to that one more. But that's, I think, influenced quite a lot by their recent clutch chess final. Because generally games between world's number 1 and 2, they do tend to be on the dry side. But in the clutch finals, it seemed as if they made some kind of an unspoken agreement to not play boring openings. and there was a tremendous amount of bloodshed. Pretty much every single game was immensely exciting, and the drama and the way the match ended were really absolutely fantastic to watch. So if we get to see something along those lines, it will really be a treat for any chess lover.
A match for the ages, to be sure. And I did actually call those clutch matches, and boy, you are absolutely right, Peter. It was a drama for the ages, which begs the question, in the chess fantasy, how are we all doing? Anna?
I'm afraid we are not doing very well, but this is a good reminder for our viewers that we have a new fantasy bracket for today. So in order to participate in our fantasy chess contest, you need to fill out the bracket before today's first game begins. Head over to Chess24 if you want to have a chance at winning our Apple iPad or Amazon Fire HD 10. I'm hoping that Peter and I will do better for the rest of the event, because what you see in the standings among our staff, I'm lost with 4 points and Peter has 6 points so far.
Yeah, Group B was not kind to me and Anna. We just got, I think, pretty much all we could have gotten wrong in Group B, and that resulted in a complete blowout. But I am very happy for the man on the horse who is leading the FFL fantasy competition.
Shout out to Mr. Dodgy, the man on the horse. And also on that note, we do have a segment on what have the players been up to on their free day, starting with the winner of Group B, Anish Giri. He posted this on his Instagram, a lovely family portrait from the beach. Apparently it was 29 degrees Celsius in The Hague, the beach of Scheveningen. The opening, Scheveningen, is named after a beach in the Netherlands, which was their place of visit, I believe. And the next image is also from Anish's Instagram, his Instagram story of how he's preparing for his match that's going to be tomorrow against Alexander Grishuk. If we could move on to the next slide. This is Anish's Instagram story, preparing for the match against the three-time world bliss champion Alexander Grishuk with his second, Daniel Giri, 3.5 years old. Moving on to the next slide, we have Daniel Dubov, who unfortunately is not competing with us anymore. He sadly had to say goodbye from Group A, but he did play a banter blitz session yesterday. If we could bring up that tweet from Chessable, he played against Chess24 Premier members yesterday and also solved checkmate on Chessable, which will be a video coming up shortly for you, dear viewers. Another player, stellar player that had a banter blitz session yesterday is Ding Liren. He played on Chess24 as well as on a Chinese platform where Grandmaster Li Chao was covering his games with over 60,000 viewers tuning in to the session of Ding Liren in China. Thank you so much, ILN, for the tweet. The next one is from Hari Krishna, who sadly also had to say goodbye to this event, but he is very active on Chessable and he is practicing with the Chessable course, which is based on this event. So if you didn't know, there's a free course on Chessable about this event, and the tactic you see on the board was one of the missed moments of the event. Hari Krishna versus Carlsen. Try to solve the tactics if you did not see it in our coverage. And our final one from yesterday's free day is, of course, Magnus Carlsen, who said it's goddamn difficult to update his status constantly. And I believe that does not refer to his world #1 spot, nor the world champion's title, but his fantasy chess ranking. Very important, absolutely.
Fantasy football, but it is
fantasy. Fantasy football. Did I say fantasy chess? I'm too focused on our fantasy chess, but fantasy football. The world champion is doing once again very well in fantasy football.
Thank you for that, Anna. And seriously, on that note, where the Chess24 Premier members get a chance to play banner chess with our great players, there's also a possibility of how they can become Premier members through our question of the day. What is today's question of the day?
If we bring up our slide of the question of the day, it is, what makes chess such a rich pastime and sport? Use the hashtag #StudyChess on Twitter if you would like to win the course of the day, which we will announce later on. But this is the question. Answer on Twitter by using the hashtag #StudyChess. And our previous winner was that tweet from the previous day. It was Flopsy tweeting, I would love to have Paul Borta as my coach because his own dubious opinion of his prep would justify my belief that the proper reply to 1d4 is D King's Indian, at which point we can just move on to Hearthstone and poker advice. I think this tweet was especially a candidate since Peter said on the broadcast, I'm sure this tweet will not win.
Nice. I love it.
This is all a conspiracy to make me feel bad about every single opinion I express.
Never, Peter. We so appreciate your opinion.
Nice. I like it a lot. I tell you, those Premier memberships, I think we should be far more generous in terms of giving them out, because really there's been some marvelous tweets. And one in particular I liked way back, I think it was like day 1 or 2 of the preliminaries, and it was somebody who made a reference to Hulk. And when I grew up as a teen, I absolutely loved the Marvel comic books, and certainly Hulk was one of my favorites. Peter, did you ever get into any of the Marvel comic books?
Not a lot. This definitely wasn't, a part of me growing up because my childhood still, I still lived in the Soviet Union then, and there wasn't a lot of cultural exchange in particular. Like, I'm sure some people had access to comics, but not the general population. I have started at some point trying to educate myself on that topic. Like, I have and then was very happy to pass on to my kids, but not not a huge collection, and I don't consider myself a specialist.
Oh, pity. My favorite, of course, was the Silver Surfer, the man with the cosmic energy. And I'll tell you what, challenge to our audience, you come up with a tweet that connects Silver Surfer, the Chessable Masters, and Chess24 in a tweet. I'll make sure you get a premier member to Chess24. Also,
wow, a special Yasser prize.
yes, exactly. I'll make sure it happens. And talking about special prizes, back to you, Anna, for social media prizes.
Thank you, Yasser. Of course, since we have already mentioned the updates from the free day, what we will now focus on is what's going to happen today. And the big news is that we have Carlsen versus Caruana again. About this match, starting with Magnus Carlsen's tweet from before the event when he said, "I found the clutch," referring to the event in St. Louis, but who is the most chessable? This was his tweet about the event. Since then, he won Group A and will now face Caruana, who tweeted about the pairings, simply the word rematch, exclamation mark, hashtag study chess. I tweeted today about this match, of course, because I had the pleasure of commentating on the World Chess Championship match in 2018 with the one and only Judith Polgar in London. And I also want to add to this picture that the face mask that we are holding was from a Chessable event. Chessable hosted a Blitz tournament in London on one of the free days, and all the participants of the Blitz event had to wear either a Carlsen or Caruana face mask. Imagine playing against someone who looks like Caruana, who looks like Carlsen. You had to pick the one that you were rooting for in London. And our final post is once again from the world champion, preparing for today's game against Fabiano, today's mini match with his second Peter Heine at a different sport. Before we discuss Magnus's basketball skills, I think we could sum up the World Championship match and clutch chess, since these were the two main matches that Magnus
Action there left Peter exposed to an open shot. Very nicely done. Very nicely done, Magnus. All right. Seriously, this is going to be a very, very exciting quarterfinals. Peter, Magnus in 2018, the World Championship match, 12 draws, as we all know, credited Fabiano as improving a great deal in his rapid chess skills and said that the clutch chess match could go either way. What do you see as the determinant factors for this match today?
I think as often when two players of closely matched players play against each other, I think form on the day is often the deciding factor. Magnus does, I believe, start as a favorite pretty much whoever he plays if he's playing well. But as both of us have already spoken of earlier, brilliantly in it, he went one down more than once, I think, in the match, and struck back almost immediately. They did seem to be just trading blows throughout the 12 game contest, resulting at the very end by Fabio winning game 11 and then Magnus winning game 12 on demand to win by one measly point in the end. But I don't really expect neither of these two guys to do anything outlandish. But even within their normal opening repertoire, there are more solid things and less solid things. And in that clutch final, they were consistently aiming for the most fighting, the most unbalanced positions they could in a very, very unbalanced situation. So if they continue like that, I think all bets are off.
Yeah, a treat indeed is in store for us as number 1 and number 2 in the classical ratings prepare to do battle. And let's take a retrospective a little bit on that World Championship match in 2018. Your thoughts, please.
I think I saw it way. Carlsen had decisive advantage in game 1, time pressure and everything he could ask for. But Fabiano fought hard, sweat blood, dodged the bullet. He was quick to recover and out-prep Meg. Game 6. You believe in fortresses? You believe in fortresses. 68 bishop h4. 6 more draws. They had $1 million at stake. The world is one way to remember. The mate in 36 that was made by Fabiano, and later on, after 12 thrilling draws, we had a rapid tiebreak. Today's event is in rapid chess. So the question then again, is Magnus Carlsen better at rapid than Fabiano if we compare their skills in classical chess and rapid? What do you think, Yasser? This time control, how does it suit Fabiano?
I think he has made a lot of great adjustments. In fact, I see Fabi literally up until the year 2018 is really concentrating on his classical chess skills, wanting to become the best chess player that he could be. And let's face it, he fought his way to the World Championship match. He went up against Magnus Carlsen, the highest rated player in the world. As you pointed out, he missed the mate in 36. I inadvertently thought it was mate in 32. Miscounting, terrible. But no, seriously, that was a fantastic match. And the outcome in the tiebreaker was just so one-sided that it kind of snapped at Fabi. And he said, okay, I understand now. My challenge is really a lot greater than I thought. I now realize that I really have to improve myself in rapid chess. And what he did in the clutch chess match was just amazing. I don't think he could have done that 2 years ago. I don't think he could have done it a year ago. So he's done some really, really extra special work. The top players have recognized that rapid and blitz world championships are titles that they can aspire to try to win. And so you're seeing a lot of the top players really being focused in their rapid and blitz skills. And now, hey, online chess, it's moved online. You're not going to play classical chess online. So you better be preparing your blitz and rapid skills. And Peter, just your thought on that as well. Do you think the players are getting better? Let's just put it like that in blitz and rapid chess.
I think so, and I think it's really not a very stunning development because the world rapid and blitz has grown in stature, I think, consistently over the years. It's now very much part of the calendar for every top player. I think most players try to be there. Most players feel like it's sort of absolutely the correct way to round off the year. Those 5 days, and generally a lot more top level practice that is available to players, which I think is how people improve. Even at that level, without competitive practice, playing these formats for high stakes against really top level opposition is how you get better. And I think there has already been a shift in that direction. And now with the chess calendar moving exclusively online pretty much for obvious reasons, people are getting even more practice in.
Exactly. And sorry to interrupt you, Peter, but in somebody's famous words, they're off.
And they're off, exactly. Yeah. And We'll start, I guess, with the Carlsen Caruana match, where they are very rapidly moving along in the line, which kind of entered the public consciousness. I would say, I want to say maybe 5 to 7 years ago. No, that's a bit long. Maybe 5 years. 7 is a bit too much. At some point, people started playing this move order: d4, knight of 6, c4, e6, knight of 3, d5, knight c3, a6. This move order, and also just simply knight c3, a6 on move 3, too ambitious. But this position definitely, at first glance, it looks extremely strange. But attempts to refute it outright, I think, have generally failed.
Right.
And these days, most players with the white pieces do the kind of a thing that Magnus is doing in this game, for instance. Namely, they play some kind of a Carlsbad, saying that, yes, you will have the Carlsbad. They are somewhat better for white, in particular if the bishop on a6 cannot be traded, neither for the light square bishop nor the knight on f3. So they now have, a very quiet-looking position, seemingly, but definitely the type of position that Magnus enjoys playing, I would say.
And before we continue with the analysis, I just would like to take the word for a quick moment to reassure everybody watching on YouTube and Twitch and Chess24 that we are aware of the issue with the stream, but we are working on fixing it. Unfortunately, there's an internet connection problem for where the production is coming from, so it might be dropping frames. We are working on it and we're going to solve it. Please be patient and enjoy the games in the meantime. Back to you, Yasser and Peter.
Well, thank you for that, Anna. Yes, the challenges of what Chess24 and Chessable are trying to overcome are immense. And one of the things I'm really impressed with, Peter, you could probably even talk to more about that than I could, is the number of languages that you can choose from. Chess24 has it, I believe, in as many as 10 languages, a chance to know. And shout out to Chess24 for doing that. I just think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's been steadily growing, and it's very pleasant to watch how widely it is now covering all the major events. And in this position, you probably played infinitely more Carlsbads than I have over the course of our respective careers. I'm very happy about the sequence that happened on the board, even though we didn't really get to discuss that before it appeared on the board. I'm a little bit surprised Black didn't play a5. But
Absolutely.
I wanted to say I fully expect Magnus to reply to a5 with queen a3, with the intention, I'm pretty sure. Anyway. And Fabi refused this queen trade by playing queen c7.
Yeah, this you were talking about the a7, a6 move on move 3. That goes way, way, way back. And for some reason, I'm really associating that move more with Alekhine. I don't even know why. I probably saw one of his games. The idea of knight f6 and a6 and bishop e6 especially, I'm associating with Magnus Carlsen, of all people. So I just thought it was a kind of an intriguing psychological ploy by psychology there in the choices. Also, I completely concur with you, Peter, that the move a6, a5 to slow down or stop the move b2, b4 is a move that I would have expected Fabi to have played. The fact that he didn't and allowed b2, b4 is a bit mystifying to begin with. And then the fact that, well, Magnus just said, b4 is not going away. I'll go queen a3 and rook fc1. So it's kind of funny, but in some ways, the bishop on e6 is in the way. It's developed, and that's a good thing, but it's not like it's on an effective square. And in fact, the rook on e8, kind of like there's a traffic jam going on in Black's position. And I'm sure Black would like to trade a few pieces to simplify his challenges.
Absolutely, and I think knight b6 is generally played not with the intention of playing knight b6 c4, which is a structure change which generally I believe favors white greatly,
Right.
but with the intention of bringing it over to d6, which is a very good square, I think, for that knight in general. It covers some important squares, and also very, very relevantly for these structures, it creates at least the idea of playing bishop b6 f5, because I think black generally would very much like to trade that bishop on e6 for the bishop on d3. But now after knight b6 has been played, Magnus does play b2 before. And that type of play feels to me like it might be a little bit too slow. If you imagine black playing knight c8 here, b5, let's say a, b, a, b, knight d6, it feels to me that the pawn on c6 might be under sort of more pressure than you are very comfortable with here with black.
Absolutely.
It does feel like
concerned to have a glaring weakness like that on c6. Unfairly, we've ignored the other quarterfinal match. Peter, shall we have a look-see?
Sure. This one is a Spanish, but sort of true to form. Artemiev continues playing the slightly offbeat Spanishes. He played this in the prelims. I think he won a reasonably nice game against Pentala Harikrishna. I think that game went as they got to the same position, but via a slightly different move order. Against Hari, he played, I think, a6, d6, which we were told is called the deferred Steinitz. But today he goes g6, which is a very old line, which kind of fell out of fashion, but I think is kind of regaining popularity right now.
Right.
It's returning to top level chess.
It's always tough to give the opening some names, but this move in particular, g7, g6, I really do think I'm on solid ground by referring that to associate that move with him from his book, 200 Best Games by Vasil Smyslov, which I think, by the way, is an amazing book. I don't know if you ever read it, Peter, or if it made an influence on you, but for me, Smyslov, again, one of those really under
Smyslov, and I have recently mainly I'm mentioning this because I do want to say that the book is quite nice. I've written a foreword for a book which I think is now going through pre-publishing. It's not out yet, but it will be out hopefully sometime this year by a Russian author who is now living in Southeast Asia, covering both his chess influence and his life, and it should be a very interesting addition to the corpus of books on Smyslov. But yeah, g6 was an early favorite of his, and the game continued c3, a6, bishop a4, d6, d4, bishop d7, castles, bishop g7. They have actually gotten to this position in the game, Harikrishna Artemiev, and I think Harikrishna played rook e1. Jan goes with h3, knight f6, rook e1, castles, knight bd2, rook e8. And here Jan decides to not necessarily simplify, but sort of clarify the situation in the center by playing d5 and then bishop c2. I very much like Artemiev's response here. Black generally sort of struggles finding work for that bishop on g7. And if you just trade it for the bishop on c1, that this idea exists. If white does this with the knight still on d2, very often black will be extremely happy to play bishop h6 and just trade those bishops off, leaving themselves with a very nice bishop on d7, which is not restricted by their own pawn structure. And the position we have on the board right now looks like this. And queen d8, b8 is also a very nice sort of throwback to some Rubinstein games. I think Akiba Rubinstein was probably the first major player who has shown that in these types of structures, queen d8, b8 with the intention of putting it on a7 and then perhaps on c5 is the way to activate that queen without really committing to, let's say, some move like c6 or c5.
fascinating position that we will be back with, but we do need to interrupt, unfortunately, our stream in order to fix the lag issue. So we need about 30 seconds to reset the stream. Please don't go anywhere. We will be back with a much better broadcast quality. Apologies once again for the issue, but it's a connection problem in the area where our production comes from in Greece. So it's out of our control, but we are working on the issue and we will now reset the stream. So please stay with us a 30